Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
A deepfake is a type of synthetic media, typically video, image, or audio that uses artificial intelligence, especially deep learning, to create highly realistic but fake content. Deepfake technology is a double edged sword. While it showcases the creative possibilities of AI, it also presents serious risk by enabling the spread of manipulated media. So, how does one counter it? This is the question that our today's SI Twinning team is trying to answer. So, let's get to know all about their work. Hello, guys, welcome to the show.
Hello, sir. Myself, Raj Mathuria. I am the team leader of team Apex 0110. And we have a team of 6 people. And let Sahil introduce my teammates.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sahil. I'm a team member of Apex 0110. And other teammates are Veer Balani, Parth Mardik, Vishwajit, and Vinayak.
Okay, so now coming to the subject of the day, deepfake. So before we, go on to understand what you have done in this regard, let us try and understand this concept of deepfake. What is it? How does it work? I mean, how is it good? How is it bad? And all about deepfake. So can you let our viewers enlighten with this subject of deepfakes?
Okay, so let's imagine a scenario. So we all scroll through Instagram. We see, voiceovers over some people's mimicking something, or like the dances and videos. So those are considered deepfakes. But again, it has a dark side. So imagine another scenario. Waking up one day to find a video of someone you trust, maybe a politician or a celebrity or even a loved one, saying things they never said or doing things they never did. Now imagine the chaos this would cause. The misinformation is spreading like wildfire. And this is the dark side of deepfakes.
Yeah, of course. And lately we have seen a lot of instances where we have seen some very disturbing images or videos which are potentially very hazardous to many situations or people. So it's definitely taking a toll on the society. So of course we need to counter this deepfakes. So to be able to understand, what deepfake is, and more importantly, how to prevent yourself or how to identify, that has been the moot point. So what have you done in that regard? What did come to your mind? Okay, this is the area that we need to work on. What motivated you to work in this particular field?
Our solution was based on seeing the different videos and understanding different eye movements, lip movements, hand movements, or maybe the facial expressions, the smile they made, or the way their eyes are contacting through the video to the people. So that was, there were many things that led to identifying that of a deep fake, in which there's some specific eye alignments were improper, or there were lip mismatches, or the smile was weird. In such cases, we would easily identify the deepfake as of right now. But as technology advances, that would be something to look out for.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can, visibly make out if something is not right. I mean, to a naked eye, there are certain elements which can be a giveaway. Okay, this is not looking real. But now, as you just said, technology has advanced really much ahead. People are using or making deepfakes which are very, very close to reality. So now, distinguishing deepfakes at that level becomes really, really hard. So, what have you done in that regard? How to, kind of separate wheat from the chaff while it comes to deepfakes?
Definitely. So, as rightly pointed out, the current solutions still struggle with these things. So, as AI advances, it becomes very challenging to manually identify between a deepfake and not a deepfake. So, this is where our solution comes into picture. So, imagine a scenario: you all wear these smartwatches, right? So, we tend to check our heart rate sometimes, and then there is a green color which normally reflects from the below of our watch. So your skin reflects subtle color changes due to blood flow. The heart rate is normally which is in green color, which is what we extract, and these are the patterns that we look into for. So now, even if you all have made a deepfake, but you cannot really, change how the blood flows in a human, right? So this is kind of how we do it on our end, using different libraries, using different technologies, and such methods are still yet to be, it is just started to explore. So there is the one which I just mentioned. It is known as PPG. So we can explore more about it. In addition, we did more of a comprehensive analysis. Like we could just say that the video is deepfake, but video contains a lot of more elements. Like what was the source of the video? Then is the audio fine, or is it only the audio that has the problem? So these are the factors where we made, a few changes.
So technically speaking, I mean, how do we, put that on a, you can say, platform wherein you can technically dissect it, the elements of it, to be able to understand or know that this is indeed a deep fake?
So for this, we have made a portal, our deepfake detection, Apex 0110 is deepfake detection portal. So herein, I'll share a video where you can just go through how the portal exactly works. You upload a video, then you detect whether it is a deepfake or not. And if it is a deepfake, it gives a much broader analysis for humans to just understand. Okay, this is where it is a deepfake, and this is the time frame where it is a deepfake. So you can just go and check there and look more closely that if you can see changes or not. We also give the graphs wherein you can visualize that okay, this is the signal that is happening. These are the differences in the graph and stuff like that. So that would be much more user friendly for our students to, and everyone in the society to understand that whether it is actually a deepfake or not.
Okay, now tell us something about the work that you did. Like, how did the work begin? What all efforts went into it? And how were you able to eventually create a system wherein you can successfully tell a deep fake?
So first of all was finding out the different deepfake videos that exist. So the main part was creating a database or creating the entire thing from where we would learn, or our model would learn about the deepfake detection, about the different movements or the different things that we created for our model. It required a database, it required some kind of data of the video or something that actually didn't exist. We had to make that by ourselves from taking videos from different input sources and from different places. So that was one of the biggest parts of starting out the entire project.
So, till now, I'm sure there must have been so many other teams or people who might have worked on this deep fake detection. So, are you aware of any other, efforts in this direction, and how successful the others have been, and how is your platform or your system different or better than the ones that are existing right now?
Definitely. So I would elaborate a little on that. Firstly, there are many competitions held on Kaggle, for example. There are many GitHub repositories. Students in their final year BTech engineering, take this up for their major project or something. So in addition, there are a lot of projects available. But again, as I mentioned, it is not really comprehensive. And even if it works on basic algorithms that this is the scenario, this is how a deepfake is recognized. But still. It cannot be foolproof again. It is an AI. There can be created a counter AI, to challenge that key. Now you wouldn't be able to detect my deepfake. So a lot of projects are there in the market, but again, we tried to make something much more than only detecting whether it is fake or real. We went beyond giving more analysis. In addition, we elaborated on how to not just detect but also identify where you can see, and the blood channels, the blood flow, how they work. So yeah, that is it.
So, have you tried to put this system of yours to a test to see how effective this is? For example, picking up n number of videos and trying to see how many of these deepfakes that this is able to detect. So, have you gone through such an exercise for yourself?
So we had data sets, we had different data sets. But again, for our training, we needed more of a synthetic data set which we had created by ourselves, as I mentioned, right? So apart from that, the data sets which we already had, we used it for our test analysis. So after testing, for instance, the audio analysis had an accuracy of 98.3%. And in much more technical terms, we had a confusion matrix which had a very good F1 score and stuff. So, sort of testing for different kinds of videos that are available. on different data set sources like face forensics plus, which was the use case of this problem statement ideally. So in all those cases after testing, we achieved a very good accuracy, and then we were sort of more confident about our project. However, we think of trying to improvise it even further in some parts of the project where we think we could still do better.
Yeah, so coming to that part that you can still do better, of course you can. So do you think there is still further scope of improvement in this? And if yes, what will it entail, and what will be the better version of what you have done right now?
Sir, a better version will firstly require, more resources. So if we get sort of a data center, if we get more computational powers to, train our, models on a much larger data set, we can synthesize more data sets also. We can provide it publicly to everyone. So, adding on open source contributions. So these are things which could change. And again, a PPG method which I mentioned. So that is a slightly less explored. But as people, figure out that okay, there are these methods available, they start building on that. So slowly, I guess with time we'll be able to improvise. And when we go for pilot testing, which is our next plan. So after naming it something, we can start with pilot testing and stuff. So when we get actual user inputs, then we could more understand that okay, these are still the problems with our portal, and we could more improvise in that.
Yeah, and the next part that I was coming to was your future plans. Like, where do you want to see yourself from here in the coming few months, years, or whatever? So, what lies ahead for you with this project?
So in the future months and our planning would be to improvise the models to its maximum efficiency so that we get proper deepfake detections out of it. And as we have seen that after our competition has ended, there have been many advancements in the AI itself in a short span of 4 to 5 months itself. So to cater those needs, like we need to create different things, different changes in the models itself, and obviously the pilot testing as mentioned by Raj, so as to understanding the inputs that people would give and then get feedbacks on that where we are still not able to reach where our model is still not efficient, and make that proper, and obviously the GitHub contributions etc from people all around the world with their whatever power competition power that they have, and different things, so that would actually add up to become to making it a best model for ourselves, and then we could continue and make it into a product and sell it for a service or sell it at a trial rate etc.
So Instagram has this feature where, for example, if we see some content which violates some sort of policies, like which is not good for the users to see, deepfakes are not really part of that. We get a prompt where see video, it has these contents, it has some sort of violations. So we could add deepfakes also as a part of that. That you're warning the user that it is a deepfake. Then it is up to their choice that whether or not to use it. So these channels is something we could reach out to. We could use it in the forensics industries, for example, to actually check whether these are the cases that are happening. So yeah, sort of this too.
Yeah, of course, there are many areas which can benefit from the models that you have created. We need such systems to be able to prevent ourselves from, this internet nuisance which has cropped up from the past few years. So definitely, the use case scenarios are immense, and I'm sure once you polish it further and bring it to the market, it will be immensely helpful. It will benefit a lot of people in a lot of places. So great, and I'm looking forward to seeing your product in the market for sure. So now coming to the competition, the SIH, how did that go? So share some experiences of the struggle involved there, the efforts made there, and any difficulties that you would have to overcome while performing there.
Yes, sir. So it was quite hectic, I would say. So we had our end semesters going on, and like we gave an exam. Then the next day we had a flight to go there at IIT Guwahati. Then we had to come back. We had another exam. But like no matter how much work we had to do, we had to stay up nights and everything. It was all worth it. Like seeing the campus for the first place. So it was a very beautiful campus. And in addition, the services we are provided with the auto rickshaws there, for traveling into the campus as well. So they were also excellent. And the fun that we had, I think Sahil could more elaborate on all this stuff too.
Yeah, so the entire experience as a whole is amazing. But we had our exams during the competition, mid competition. So we had given an exam, reached there, actually missed two exams for SIH, which we had to give in retest afterwards. But yeah, it was all worth it as was. And at IIT Guwahati, we didn't actually have any problems. We had the hostel to stay, we had food given by them, proper food. And I, being a Jain, was also provided Jain food. So even at Guwahati, so that was a big thing for me as well. And in overall the competition itself was a great experience and a learning experience in all, where we got to meet different people from different colleges with different ideologies, different years, different understanding on how the thing works, and people from different problem statements as well were present there. So we got to interact with them and learn about their problem statements as well. So it was a very amazing experience in all. And to win it at the end was, like just a cherry on top of the cake. That's all.
So that was fun part. That was, the nice part of the competition which you enjoyed. Now let's come to the, you can say, competitive part of it. So how intense was the competition? Your rival teams and the manner in which you have to like outdo them to appear on top. So what did that entail? Particularly the mentoring rounds or judging rounds. Were there any kind of feedbacks which had to make you rethink or redevelop your strategies or your systems? So how did all that go, the competition part?
So the competition was, I think, immense. Like I still remember when we entered the room, we got settled on the table, and then there were students with their like a rig sort of setups. They came with some hardwares and everything, and we barely had like a 16 GB RAM PC. So like that very moment, we were so scared that, wow, I don't know what is happening. Like what will be the next. Then after the first mentoring round, we felt much more relaxed because the mentors actually gave valuable feedback, and then we started to bit more confidence about our project. We felt nice. In fact, even like just before the results, like we had to stay up all night. We just kept working and working. In fact, Sahil didn't even have his lunch and dinner at times. He kind of skipped it just because he was so involved in it. And then there were so many things happening. There was a moment when the events were taking place, like the dancing and everything, which was staying there. Like no one actually stood up from their place. Everyone was just working and everything. It was so scary at that moment. But eventually, yeah, everyone had some fun there. Like for an hour or so, we did get into the games part, and then it became much more easy go for us, that okay, now it's all cool, now we know people. And still there was like tremendous competition. I feel even after the results, we had a word with the evaluators that like, did you all actually like the project, how was it and stuff, sort of some feedback after the prizes were announced. They said that there were results nicer also, like there were excellent results by other teams as well. So it was a tough decision for them to make also. So in all those factors, it sort of feels like good at the moment that we like one of the top brains of India, I would say.
Yeah, of course, you are one of the top brains because winning the competition proves it surely. And good to know that you were able to sustain all kind of pressures, and apart from having fun, you were also able to get hold of the competition itself and win it in the end. Great, congratulations for that once again, and thank you for joining us today and sharing your project with us. It was wonderful to know not only about a bit about deepfakes, but also how you worked on to prevent those and create a good scenario of cybersecurity to the people around. So thank you so much for joining, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors also, and particularly with this particular project. And I'm sure we'll see this project actually, in the field, in the market, benefiting loads and loads of people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Surely, surely. Thank you. Thanks for joining today. Deepfake detection systems can be vital in maintaining trust in news, social media, and communication platforms. These can also support law enforcement and cybersecurity efforts by verifying the legitimacy of audio-visual content, promoting the ethical use of AI technologies. We are sure our society is going to benefit immensely by the efforts of our young innovators.